What's up, everybody? I just finished another book in the Spooksville series. This is The Dark Corner. This is a book that I started on because I wanted to knock this one out, and then I wanted to start on The Little People, which is the book directly after this one. And I wanted to read that one for Thanksgiving because on the cover it has this like little green, little elf monster looking thing, but there's like food flying up. He's got like a fork in his hand. Figured that would have fit the theme of Thanksgiving and food and stuff. So but I didn't get to read that. I finally knocked this one out, and I guess I'll put The Little People on for December. I'll add that as my a December read, maybe. But yeah. So the story itself starts off with Adam, Watch, Cindy, and Sally. I think they're at their little hangout place, the ice cream shop or something. They're sitting around eating, thinking about like summer vacation is about to be over. I don't remember exactly how much more summer vacation they have, but they talk about going back to school, and this excites me because they mention some of the teachers at this school. They mention one that's like a snake and different things like that. And there is a book in the series called the Creature and the Teacher, I think, and that's later on. It's like number 12 or 11 or something. But yeah, they start talking, and Sally brings up this guy named Bryce. I think his last name is Poole, and she talks about how like he's a great looking guy, and just she's infatuated with him, and talks about he's like the James Bond of Spooksville. Like he goes and saves the world and all this. And Ab and Watch are a little skeptical because they've never heard her mention this guy at all. So she begins talking to him, and we learn that he escaped through the secret path. That's from the first book, and he's been gone for like a week or so now, and she kind of wants to go like see what's going on with him. And this is like a cover up for Sally because she doesn't want to flat out say that she wants to go save this guy, and they end up doing that. She talks him into going in through the secret path and different things like that. So they do the same stuff from the first book. I will admit I don't remember the first book that much. It was like 2 or 3 years ago when I read the first book. I do remember a good bit of it, or some of it, but not a lot. So they do supposedly the same things that they did in the first book to go through the secret path. They get ready to go, and they tell Cindy maybe she needs to hang back, and if they don't see her by dark time, to go get help. So she hangs back because she's never been to the secret path, and the secret path apparently is based on how scared you are. How scary you are is how scary the place will be. So the three, Watch, Adam, and Sally, go in, and Cindy stays back. They end up finding this knapsack that supposedly belongs to that Bryce guy. They end up walking backwards to the tombstone, and they're in the secret path. So immediately when they get there, they think it's kind of weird because this whole place is like heaven. It's like bright, lush, green grass, and it's like very nice looking. And Adam or Watch One describes this as not heaven, but a version of heaven or something. So they start walking around and just kind of exploring. They go to this restaurant, and when they go to this restaurant, they go to get something to eat, and the guy's like, "No, don't worry about it." Like he doesn't want their money. Very weird, So they get this stuff, and this guy talks them into going to see their counterpart in this dimension, and he'll know the answers on how to find this Bryce guy because they ask, where's this Bryce guy at? So they take off to go find their counterparts, and their counterparts, Adam and Watch, are a little skeptical about finding them. They end up finding them, and they're just hanging out at their house. And the weird thing about this is their counterparts act just like they do. Just there's like slight differences and stuff. So they go to hang out, and immediately when they start walking up to them, their faces start changing. They turn into like monsters and different things like that. They grow horns, and it turns out that these things are demons. And they overpower Sally, Watch, and Adam. They tie them to poles, and they tell them they're going to be here to rot. And they rip their hair out and begin eating. And I know what you're thinking. This is like totally opposite of what's going on. The whole place changes, and it turns into a version of hell. And they talk about they use this like bright lush thing as like a cover up so they can get humans to come closer so they can like feed on them and escape into the real world and different things like that. So there you go, eat the hair and escape. They're off into the real world. This is where it goes to Cindy's perspective, and Cindy sees Adam watch Sally walk up to her. She doesn't suppose anything. Turns out they're demons, but she doesn't know this yet. They go and they eat at this restaurant, and they ask for like raw hamburger meat, which should have been like a dead giveaway. Um, but the one of them knocks out the restaurant owner, and he tells Sally that he he tells Sally that be ready for tonight because we're coming back for you, and she has to babysit her brother, and they tell her to bring her brother with them, and they like hypnotize her into thinking that they don't tell anybody or anything like this. So yeah, we go back to the dark corner is what they call it. The dark corner is basically like the darkest crevice of the secret path. Like that's kind of how I interpreted it. So they go and they see they're hanging around. You know, they get told that there's this gatekeeper that is going to tell them if they can go back to the real world or not. They're going to have like a judge, jury, and all that. So this thing supposedly is the gatekeeper comes up to them. It turns out it's actually Bryce in a costume. He tells them that it's like a disguise. It looks just like a regular demon. And he tells them, he rips off his mask, and he tells them that he came here to like study these things and to figure out how to stop them and all this crazy stuff. He knows a lot more about these kids than they think. And he says that he could get them out. But what they have to do is they have to find Bryce's counterpart in this world, get him to touch a tombstone, and escape into a portal that goes into the other dimension. But Bryce can't touch the demon, and he has to get the other demons to come back. And Adam, Watch, and Sally, they can't escape because the demons ate their hair, and now they stayed out. And in order for them to swap, like the other demons have to come back. That's the only way to escape. And yeah, that's yeah. So they go and they do this by the demons don't like cold things. They don't like cold weather, or they don't like cold water and things like that. So what they do is they all go to this beach and they see Bryce's counterpart. He's hanging out at the beach, and Bryce tells Adam to dress up because he can't risk touching him. I can't remember what happens if he touches him. I think that just overpowers him and he can escape or something. I'm not sure. So they he tells Adam to dress up in your little costume or whatever and trick him into drinking human blood. And by this, they get some cold lemonade, and he offers it to them. The demon drinks the cold lemonade, knocks him out. They touch Tombstone. Bryce escapes, and he just tells them to kind of basically survive until I come back. And Watch and Adam, of course, are kind of skeptical. Even Sally at this point, doesn't really know. So he escapes into the real world, and this is where Sally's at her house. She hears a knock at the door, comes to the door, or she reluctantly goes to the door because these demons are after her. Turns out it's just Bryce, and he tells them that he has her real friends in the real world. She's like, "Well, my real friends are here," and he says, "No, they haven't you noticed how weird they've been acting?" No, so they he decides to try to get these other demons. He has a plan to get them into a grocery store, into the freezer, and is going to freeze them so they can escape into the other world. And he gets Cindy to get on a bicycle and him on a bicycle so they can escape because these demons are really fast. And yeah, they also like raw hamburger meat, so that leads them to this grocery store and all that. So pretty fun stuff. And back in the real world, we have this thing, and it's very ridiculous, but very, very fun. It is basically this like court thing where we have a jury, a judge, and everything, and all of these things are demons. So like the humans have no escape really. And they even say like if you do this, they're gonna eat you. If you do that, they're gonna eat you. Whatever. So they come up with this thing, and I can't remember what it's called, but it is basically like this scale where each individual kid stands on a scale, and the demons give them sins, and if they sin so many times and it like lifts them up, then you know they're put on trial and they're found guilty or whatever. So they do this, and it's I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but it's kind of predictable on who doesn't pass, and it's very funny. But it's very sad too, and but they, something happens. But yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna leave this. I do want to mention too, Cindy's fight with the demons. She reveals something about herself that I thought was just gonna be like a white lie, but apparently it's true, and it was actually pretty crazy for a kid's book. But yeah, something you don't ever think about. I never even heard about that until I was like much older. But yeah. Yeah, The Dark Corner was fun. It was very dark, very scary, very mature for a kid's book. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. The demons were very scary. There are some very fun moments. If I had to pick out any negatives, I would say that I wish we got more descriptions of the demons, what they look like, because as far as I know, they look like this guy on here, but they're not described as having wings. They're described as having a weird face with horns. Some of the demons get like a little bit more uh, descriptions towards the end in the courtroom thing, but other than that, we don't really know anything about what they look like. I also want to point out that Cindy's in the past previous books, they always separate like two kids and put them together with somebody else, like Sally and Watch, or Cindy and Adam, or whatever. This one, they separate everybody from Cindy, and I don't think Cindy was as interesting by herself, but I felt like she was just also talking to demons, so it was just her. So it was just kind of, and we did learn something about her that was more of a. I don't think that would be like a characteristic of her, but like we do learn a little bit more about her, and hopefully we get more later on, like character development for her. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it based on the complaints. Oh, I will say too, and this is not a big complaint, but this did feel like a little bit like the Cold People, but because they're running around town, running away from these fire people, like from hell or whatever, or a version of hell, and in order to stop them, you have to like get them cold or freeze them. Basically, the same premise for the Cold People, except the opposite. You had to use flamethrowers from them, hot and cold. But I don't really consider that like a negative because it's just what is in these books. Like I don't think Pike was running out of ideas. If anything, he's coming up with some crazy more. But yeah, The Dark Corner was very fun, very solid. Even with the negatives, this book was amazing. Um, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know. I thought about giving this like a 4 out of 5, but like I really don't even think the negatives outweigh enough for it to be even a point reducted. So, highly recommend this one. The Dark Corner gets 5 out of 5 stars. I think that's it for me, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.